All right, I guess I'll stay. It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest, fresh from falling asleep in a tanning bed, novelist and literary critic Walter Kerr. She's a sports diva who got straight A's at Yeshiva. Sports reporter Emily Austin.
I wish.
Her favorite pregnancy book is Rosemary's Baby. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor Gutfeld. He's fearless and gigantic and makes ladies over 60 feel romantic. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NBA World Champion Tyrus.
We're just like, what?
All right, before we get to some news stories, let's do this.
Greg's Leftovers.
Yeah. It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes that we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them, so if they suck, Joe Mackey will be nominated as Attorney General and be forced to deport Jerry Nadler's pants. All right, Thanksgiving is next week, which means down in Washington, the White House kitchen staff has to hide the gravy boats so Joe doesn't crap in them. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi is preparing her Thanksgiving turkey. After stuffing the bird with breadcrumbs, celery, and onion, she gives it 2 shots of Botox, then stabs it in the back. Yeah. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said that the TSA is expecting record-breaking Thanksgiving travel this year. To speed up the lines and security, you'll never guess who's offered to help pat down travelers. James Carville attacked Merrick Garland for not rushing to prosecute Trump. Then he attacked a mongoose that was trying to steal his bowl of mice. 41% of Democrats want Kamala Harris to run again in 2028. The other 59% prefer this guy. Amid financial woes, MSNBC will cut Rachel Maddow's salary by $5 million. Rachel's so down and out, she had to replace the silver bowl she uses with a plastic one to cut her own hair. As wokeness dies off, AOC removed her pronouns from her Twitter bio and changed representative to congresswoman. At this rate, in 2 weeks, she'll be calling herself Toots. What's up, Toots? We got to bring that back. Snow in New York City last night, huh? To melt it, Mayor Eric Adams is urging New Yorkers to get busy urinating. New research shows that AI can recreate your personality simply by interviewing you for just 2 hours, which may then live on after you die. This is why 5 out of 5 scientists warn the world, never interview Joy Behar. Double laugh. The world's saddest dolphin was recorded talking to himself because he has no friends. Yeah, they call this Brian Kilmeade disorder. The world's tallest and the world's shortest woman appeared at a Guinness World Record event, which is surprising they made it there since they're both terrible drivers. Adam Schiff claims Trump will use the U.S. military against him, but Trump says he's only asked the Army Corps of Engineers to help Adam build a chin. Oh, man. Al Sharpton blasted President Trump for not adding any black people to his cabinet yet. Or maybe he did, and they're just running late. That's why they're called leftovers, Tyrus.
Who wrote that?
I'll find out.
Oh,
it's probably
that
Mackey.
Mackey. Got
Racist.
it.
UFC head Dana White called politics a disgusting business. Then he got back to paying people to beat the crap out of each other. Kim Kardashian shared photos of herself holding hands with her Tesla robot. She says it's nothing serious. She just likes being with someone who has fewer fake parts. A 33-year-old man returning from Mexico was found to have 4.2 ounces of fentanyl in his rectum. Ugh, remind me to avoid fentanyl. Finally, Denmark has announced plans to implement the world's first tax on cow farts. It's a move that's causing panic in the bovine community. You people. You people. All right, these days, MSNBC has come to stand for Must Sell Network Before Christmas. Their post-election ratings are down 54%. That's 50% more than my body fat, Walter. Hell, Brit Hume's laxative reviews on YouTube have more viewers. And so they've slashed their budget so low, Joy Reid had to replace her toupee with a cocktail napkin. But don't feel bad. Check out this headline their website dropped today. Quote, Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. Oh, now that can't be an accident. If you ask me, it's suicide by headline. What better way to kill off the rest of the network than to drop one of the most repulsive headlines of all time? MSNBC did finally change it, but the damage was already done. And the same can be said for their shows. Mika and Joe are circling the drain, with Morning Joe's already low ratings dropping another 15%. They're losing people as fast as The View loses toes. The public wants Scarborough's opinions about as much as his music. He's right. It ain't easy when you suck. And it sure doesn't help that overnight they've gone from calling Trump Hitler to rolling over on their backs for a belly rub. Seriously, Mike Tyson put up more of a fight. But Mika, she says that no one's really mad at her. They're all just scared of Trump's retribution.
I've been surprised at the backlash, and the way I look at it is people are really scared. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons we went in there, is people are really scared about Donald Trump's comments about, political adversaries. A lot of people are scared because of what has happened with abortion. Everyone is so scared. People, whether they're in the media or they are citizens of this great country, I think everybody is feeling scared, disoriented, fearful of the future. And I think I think just for a quick moment, I might be like the punching bag for that.
No, Mika, you're not a punching bag. A punching bag is not hollow. But everybody's scared. They're scared. They're scared. She made sure everybody knew that. Yeah, people were frightened. But who made them so scared? You dip. You convinced your audience that Trump wanted to destroy democracy and kill women. Even Randy Weingarten is hysterical, and he's no shrinking violet. If you really believed the stuff you actually said, you'd be fleeing the country, not groveling at Mar-a-Lago. Fact is, your viewers revile you because your motivations were exposed. The fear-mongering was strictly business. And now that your job is in jeopardy, the fear-mongering has gone away. You went from telling them Trump was evil to, Trump's not so bad. It's like your spouse telling you how much she hates her boss before running off with him to Jamaica. Meanwhile, Rachel Maddow's salary has been slashed by $5 million a year. It sounds like a lot, except she was making $30 million a year for one show a week. So if she does 50 shows a year, her pay went from $600,000 an episode to $500,000. That's like $5 per viewer. But one MSNBC executive justifies it, calling Maddow, quote, ratings Viagra. I'm sorry, she couldn't even give Chris Matthews a semi. And he's a horny little devil. Yeah. So what's next for MSNBC? Well, they're going to try to redefine themselves as a startup. But that's impossible because the product is nothing new and it's hopelessly contaminated. It's radioactive. It's like closing Chernobyl, throwing on a coat of paint, and reopening it as a glow-in-the-dark Cracker Barrel. Oh, be sure and check out the petting zoo for animals with 8 legs. But they're hoping that their viewers are so addicted to lies that they'll come back. Please come back, MSNBC will say to their betrayed lovers. I'll promise I'll do better. You need me. And they probably will go back. There's always a market for terrible ideas, even when the mocha smoothie they're being served is actually full of I think, Walter, the best way to describe the state and the future of the media was that MSNBC headline, Laken Riley never stood a chance. I mean, that wasn't just written, it was approved. What kind of mindset is that?
Well, first of all, besides being horrific, it's incorrect. Laken Riley's killer did have a chance. It was given to him by the U.S. government when he got here. All he had to do was not murder a woman.
Yeah.
But he blew that chance. That they would run this and then correct it is ridiculous. I mean, they must have known it needed correction before they ran it.
Right.
Was it just an attempt to like throw a grenade into our minds? And it feels like terrorism almost, a form of news terrorism. What are they going to say next? I don't know, Putin, the gentle man who's been underestimated.
And we all know, too, as people who are writers, that you don't write the headline yourself. So some editor wrote that probably completely over who wrote this article. Like, imagine being the person that wrote that and spent all this time on this article and then looks online and they're like, that's what you called my article? I mean, I really want to know who wrote it, because it's very rarely, if ever, the person who wrote the article. I want to know who wrote that headline and then who approved that headline, because it's impossible for me to look at that man and feel anything but just absolute disgust, hatred, vitriol. I don't know how the family can stand to be in the courtroom with the guy. I don't know how you can even stand it. But I do. I mean, there's probably some drama going on in the building over the person that wrote the article and then the person that wrote the headline.
I think it's the last thing MSNBC needed, unless they thought it doesn't matter anymore. Who cares?
Clickbait an American citizen.
Yeah.
Who was murdered brutally. She's clickbait. Click that, because they're going to. Oh, what is that?
Yeah.
So again, they still don't care. They're thinking they're one click away from being back in the game. That's why they wouldn't have the guts to outright fire Maddow for what, a decade, telling us about Russia and this and that and lies upon lies upon lies. They still think there's a way they can pull it out. Just like with Mika talking about, a lot of people are afraid. Can anyone tell me in any term, at any moment in your life to where things are going awry and while your family's afraid, somebody in your family said, we need to find out what Joe and Mika would do. Quick, somebody call Joe and Mika. Never happened. The only people who are afraid was Joe, who was writing on the cue, say we're afraid, say we're afraid, say we're afraid. They couldn't get airtime on their own show for that whack-ass message.
I think,
It's true. In that bit, Emily, Mika mentioned that people are scared, without connecting the fact that they are the people that are projecting the fear. It's insane.
She repeated the same words so many times. If she was any less articulate, I would have thought that was Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But she made too much sense. I think to go off of Walter and Terrace's point, you guys were asking, do they not care? Did they not think? I feel as if they've lost any ounce of self-independent thinking whatsoever, that they don't think about these headlines. To me, they go, okay, what did the Republicans say? What do they believe in? What do they think? Let's choose the exact opposite stance, no matter how outrageous it is, and let's ride with it, because God forbid we see eye to eye with the Republicans, then we lose our viewership of self-loathing, lonely people at home to agree with us.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
the problem.
it
I
is
do
like
think it was clickbait, though, because you look at the article itself, it's not.
It's double clickbait.
yeah.
They got clickbait when they ran it and clickbait when they brought it down.
Yeah.
But, you know, they need ratings, Viagra. They really do. Because Viagra is for guys who should have died 10 years ago.
That's oh my God.
It's for guys who should have...
Yeah.
They should have died 10 years ago, but it keeps them alive so they can have sex, so they can die of a heart attack.
That's why. No. That's why I asked the other night on social media. I said, should there be background checks for Viagra for men? Because
There should definitely
there's a point
be
where it should stop.
Died 10 years ago.
No, he's right.
No,
He's
it's,
right.
it's
It's
so
like-
they can have sex one more time very briefly with a horrified partner and then die of a heart attack.
Think of all the evil villains in the world, Greg.
Yeah.
The creepy old man, the pedo. It has to stop. Take Viagra away. They can't play anymore. Thank you, Walter.
Viagra's first celebrity endorser was Bob Dole.
Yes. And he should have died years ago.
he has actually.
No, before the Viagra.
He died of a heart attack, I think.
He ironically ended up stiff.
All right. We have to move on now. Somehow I didn't see that direction. By the way, Viagra can treat that as well.
Right.
Consult your doctor. I'm not a doctor. Though I have told women that in my van. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.